All right, I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is AJ. We're coming at you with Season 8, Episode 10. William Golding got it wrong. Lord of the Flies, more like Lord of the more like Lord of the Lies. Find us on Instagram and Twitter, or X, or Blue Sky at pointsopressure.com.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
We haven't been on Twitter in like 2 years.
I know.
That's great. All right.
Best intro so far.
Best intro so far, definitely. So I'm going to immediately bring down the mood.
Mm-hmm.
No, I got it. Don't you worry. So,
sure? I'd be happy to.
Yeah, no. D was sick last week, as you potentially saw or listened to, because I put out a little thingy.
And I appreciate those of you that reached out to me. That was actually really nice on Monday when I woke up. I called into work and was like, I fucking hate my life. And I had like a handful of texts from people that were like, hey, I hope you're doing okay. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so, that's why last week's episode didn't come out.
Yeah.
That episode will be made up at some point in the future. We're not going to go super heavy on it, but pretty much, we've been joking about how shitty D's job is for like this season and like
pretty
half
much
of
like
last
half
season.
Of last, the second half of last season.
So
before
it's
that,
just
it was
getting
awesome.
worse.
Second
Yeah, before that
half
it was great.
Before their first round of layoffs, it was I loved it. I got away with murder. But
Yeah, basically. So it
now
turns out
now I've hit the real world, I suppose.
Yeah, he's hit reality for the first time. No.
Yeah.
So pretty much to give you a brief rundown without getting too much into it, they laid off a bunch of people, and now everybody has to work mandatory overtime, and then they used machine learning algorithm AI to do all the easy work.
Yeah.
But they didn't change any KPIs or expectations or anything. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
So
fucked.
mental health reasons, we're not gonna hound on D to make it up. Here going forward, we won't miss any episodes unless there's like something crazy wrong. I'll have our if we really need to, I'll have our social media manager step in for an episode here or there if you need it.
Okay.
Just let me know. Everything else will be coming out on time.
Yeah. Spoiler for next week, Season 8, Episode 11, D kills himself on air.
On
so
air.
That'll be cool.
Perfect. So
Yeah, bear with me, and
we'll get through it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love doing this. I'm not quitting. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I'll still be here. I'll still be here for the episodes. It's just you got to understand, like, making notes for these episodes is a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
it takes a chunk of time. I know it sounds like we goof off a lot.
Yeah.
God, we should just start reading directly from the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I know.
Let's.
There's actually a channel on YouTube
Yes.
that I follow that I'll watch his stuff, and his stuff is that, and he just does like the video editing, and he'll show like the whatever massacre, and he'll show like pictures of stuff, like a slideshow format, and the amount of times I've like just watched a video of his, and I'm like, cool, I'll reference the Wikipedia, and I go back and I'm like, this is literally what he just read. I'm like, okay, cool.
So,
I'll just reference his video.
I
Fuck it.
actually, like 10
There's
years
so
ago,
many that do that
I
too.
came across a program on GitHub that did that, where you just put in the Wikipedia link
Oh, and it just
and
reads it.
and it puts out a script. This was 10 years ago, so more than 10 years ago probably.
So it's even better.
So
yeah.
it would just put out a script. You would read the script, and then it would do the slideshow itself from the pictures in the Wikipedia page. So now I know for a fact that there's a shitload of YouTube channels that use the AI voice, like the TTS voice, and it's integrated with the program now. So they just put in
That's what I should do.
boom, 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 and every Wikipedia article related to that genre niche that they're going for, because it's literally filled with SEO and keywords.
That's what I should do. Is I should just be like, create an episode for me, and then just record my voice and have it do the AI, and I'll just play it and fall asleep over here.
Yeah.
And then when you like, while you're talking and it interrupts you and reels everything back in, it would be just like the regular
It would be just
show.
like we're here. Yeah, exactly. No,
Ugh.
but it's crazy. Some of the, I mean, it's really low quality content.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's crazy what people kind of can automate and get
Shit's
away
wild.
with.
Yeah. But yeah, bear with me. I really am sorry to those on Patreon. Like I didn't even get out the fucking exclusive last month.
That will also be made up.
Yeah,
Don't you
that'll
worry.
be made up. I promise. I've got to get in a better place. I've got to figure out how I can kind of not feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends.
You don't have a candle left. You're just a pile of ash at this point.
Yeah, it's
so
just the leftover wick.
yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot. Unfortunately, despite all of my hopes and dreams on the last episode we recorded, I did not get laid off, so I'm still working. So
Yeah.
that sucks.
But who knows?
but yeah.
There's been some interviews.
Yeah. If you guys have
know?
any recommendations when it comes to jobs, let me know. Even if it's some stupid Instagram influencer that's like, did you know FedEx is doing remote work? Actually, don't send those because those piss me off. Don't send me those. But if you're like, hey, D, this is a company that does remote work or whatever.
Swagbucks surveys.
Yeah,
you can earn
honestly,
$6 an hour
yeah.
doing Swagbucks surveys.
Send them along because, like, I really don't want. I hate how much it's affected me being able to do the show. Like, just know me not doing episodes isn't like D takes a vacation from working his fucking like job. Like, I truly wish I were doing an episode. I feel fucking awful about it. But yeah, I just want to be good again when it comes to doing these, because I know that like they just won't have the heart and soul in them if I'm doing the notes now. So if you guys have anything, send them along. I'm happy to.
r/beer money.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, thank you for understanding. If this is a problem and you're upset about it, fuck off.
Mental health is
I'm
important.
not sorry to you.
I don't care.
But yeah.
This is important. You'll get all the content that we would normally provide.
Yeah. Well, I will make it all up. I promise.
It'll be made up.
Yeah. We're not going to be like, oh, we're doing 6 episodes a season now. As much as I want to only do 6 episodes a season, we'll be good. And that's end of sad shit. How was your week?
Oh, not too bad. Work was fine. I mean, it was actually kind of ass. The first night we didn't have any patients, which was awesome. And then the second night, a patient came in 2 hours before I showed up, so they weren't even done with the admit, so I had to finish that. And then one showed up 30 minutes after I got there, and one showed up 2 hours. Oh, no. Yeah, 2 hours after that. So it was so fucking busy.
Ah, fuck.
I was so... No, it was on the last day. So the most tired day, everyone showed up. I was so fucking tired and beat and pissed off at everything.
Hell yeah. Great. Gotta love it. It's so nice being miserable because of work.
Love it. Especially when they're like, no, we won't do any admits at night because you're there all alone. Like, you're literally the only nurse. It's you and one other person. I'm sure you can do your safety checks on the other people withdrawing from drugs and alcohol.
Shut up.
While also doing admits.
God.
Yeah, so we, But then after that, it wasn't too bad. Got a couple days off. Last day off today, which is sad.
Damn.
Are
you back on 3 in a row?
Yep. And then the furnace went out yesterday.
Oh, about that, by the way. Abby and I keep all of these closed when the furnace is on. So, like, don't ever feel like you need to fix that stuff for us.
You got to heat it up down here. You got to keep those open.
Honestly,
Makes my floors cold.
It probably does, but we're just like we have the windows open at night because it helps us circulate the air and keep the room cold. Because we have 2 fucking tiny space heaters. We have 2 hot dog machines that are in our bed. So if it goes out again, don't feel like you need to fix it for us because all of the vents in our living area are closed.
It was 59 degrees upstairs. Oh, we needed to fix it.
Yeah,
it was getting.
I'm just saying,
it was
like,
getting rough. Yeah.
Don't feel like, oh yeah, like they're freezing down there. We're like, we're like,
but
we're like,
it's by control.
Yeah, we're like, ooh, that just means we can cuddle with the dogs.
Yeah.
And bundle. So.
Bundle up. Yeah. So luckily, took it apart, checked a couple things, got the replacement part in today.
Fuck yeah.
Checked the flame sensor. Flame sensor definitely needs to be replaced soon. But it wasn't the flame sensor. We could hear the gas. I went through the whole fucking thing. I'm not an HVAC guy. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. My dad was over.
Yeah.
And finally we're like, it's just not igniting. So I got a new igniter, put it in today. It's back.
Bada bing.
But man, I hate when things break.
I know, dude.
Luckily, it was only like a $30 piece.
It was a fucking AC last summer, too.
Oh, yeah. It's something every season.
Yeah, there's always one little thing.
Mhm.
Perks of being a homeowner.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
If you can't afford it, don't do it.
God.
I can't afford it.
You need to take these costs into account. That's why it's cheaper. It's technically cheaper to rent. Shut the fuck up.
No, it isn't. Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
Shut up.
All right. Now
yeah.
that we're done complaining.
Yeah, God, sorry.
All
It's
right,
a
all right.
Negative start to the episode, but we're
Now,
back.
hey, only place to go is up.
Yeah.
Did you read Lord of the Flies in school?
As with every book in school, they would be assigned, and the night before we were supposed to have like our report due on them, I would just Google as much information about it as I could.
Hell yeah. That's that's a way.
Like
The Cliff Notes.
yeah, pretty much every book we were supposed to read in school, I didn't. Like I got fully mocked in front of one of my classes by a teacher because I didn't read The Scarlet Letter at all over Christmas break.
Why would you read anything over Christmas break? That's
I know.
bullshit.
That was their whole thing was, oh yeah, like you guys have a ton of time. It's a 100-page book. That's it. Just read The Scarlet Letter. I didn't even touch it. I think I left it in my locker at school. I was like, whatever.
Hell yeah.
Got back and he graded on a curve on it.
So you brought the curve down?
It was like grading on a curve reversed.
Oh fuck.
So
Never
what
mind.
happened is this is a little D backstory. And I'll call him out. Mr. Demanja, you were everybody's fucking favorite. Suck my cock. You were a bitch. So we took the quiz. I didn't know any of the answers. I didn't look anything up on it. And my buddy was like, oh, you should have done the Spark Notes. I was like, yeah, fuck it. What? Like, I'll guess. It's multiple choice, whatever. Who gives a shit? I had no idea what the book was about. We hadn't done like the class. We hadn't done the class discussion on it. We hadn't done anything. Like some of the questions were like, what's like what was the main character's husband's name? Kind of shit.
Like
that was a couple of
weirdly
just
specific
just stuff that was
bullshit.
like, hey, like, did you read it?
Yeah.
It was a 10-question quiz. Some of it was more specific stuff, multiple choice. I got 0. Or no. I think I got 2 questions right.
Hey, that's something.
And I was like, yeah, it's okay. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, who got below 5 questions right? And I raised my hand. And he goes, and there was like one other person. And he was like, who got below 3 questions right? And the other kid was like, I got 4. And I go, I got like 2. And he goes, okay, so it's out of 6 now, or it's out of 8 now. He basically said, the questions that I got right don't count anymore.
Oh, what a bitch.
So I got 0
What
out
a
of I got
fucking
0%
bitch.
on the quiz.
What an asshole.
And everybody else got like a higher score, and I was the only one that got 0.
Oh,
and he thought it was
shit.
like the funniest thing, and I left, and I was like, I'm gonna skip his class as often as I fucking can.
Yeah. How does that build any kind
I
of
was like, what the
academic
fuck?
interest?
I remember going, I think I had my stupid seminary church class right after that. And I remember walking with one of my friends, and I was like, because we had the same class, and he was like, hey, are you good? I was like, no, that was fucking mean. I was like, I feel like shit. He just said, hey, fuck the 20% that you would have got. You get 0. I was like, that fucked
you
me.
Specifically.
I was like, I feel so singled out and shit on. And he was like, yeah, that was kind of shitty. I was like, it was really shitty. It is stuck with me forever. It was the one. It was like one of
That's
the
a defining moment.
One of the 2 things that teachers have done in my high school career that I'm like, go fuck
That's
yourself.
a defining moment.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's why I'm defiant. So.
Yeah, I fucking bet. No, that's bullshit. Like, a good teacher would have said, hey, will you come up to the desk real quick? And just like, okay, you guys do whatever.
Yeah.
And just been like, hey, I noticed you didn't read. Was that just because of this or what? Like, come on,
To be
start a
fair,
conversation.
I was a sarcastic little smart-ass piece of shit kid. I very likely let it slide. Like, oh, I didn't fucking read this. I'll give it a shot. I was loud about like fucking
That's
everything.
fine. It
he
still
was
deserves.
still a dick. He was still a dick. I
It still
guess,
deserves
but,
a communication. Like,
But yeah, I was like, man, this is bullshit.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
That was pretty much my whole high school experience.
Holy shit.
Lord of the Flies. I was in the class during the full discussion.
Okay,
I have
so you know roughly about it.
I've seen the really, really bad movie.
Oh, hell
it was
yeah.
edited.
The black and white one?
Yeah, yeah. It was edited so we could still watch it at school and shit. But I know like all of the.
You know,
points
the
and-
general
Yeah. I do need to read it though.
British
I'll be honest.
kids. I kind of want to read it.
Part of me is like, maybe I should just take this year to read some like classics.
Hey, LibriVox
Like-
has all the classics
Yeah,
narrated for free.
Like
That one's a pretty good
literary classics. Maybe I should just go through those and
one. Yeah.
not
Dude,
be such
one
a
of my
piece of
favorite books on the
shit.
planet is Treasure Island. If you
Oh.
haven't read Treasure Island,
Okay.
Muppet Treasure Island got it closer than the movie Treasure Island.
Muppet Treasure Island is the
It-
reason I know anything about Treasure
It got
Island.
it surprisingly close.
The best.
I don't, but
Same with-
the only problem,
Same with Christmas Carol. Muppets Christmas Carol is so fucking close
it's more accurate.
to the original. It is incredible. They follow the source
yeah.
material so well.
But the only bad part is that, you know, I like listening. I've read Treasure Island. The last time I listened to it, but when the characters were speaking, I was seeing their Muppets.
Yeah.
Still.
Fuck yeah.
So I was like, this kind of takes me out of some of
I
it.
need to read it again with that
It's-
in mind.
Yeah, do it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, the Muppets, strangely enough, follow they follow the books really well for like anything. Like Muppets Take Manhattan follows American Psycho to a T. God, can
Yeah,
you imagine?
exactly. Gonzo with that homeless guy.
Yeah, with the homeless guy's dog
Yeah.
and that fucking electric knife. Yeah, that's cool as shit.
The Great Muppet Caper. We covered that the base story in one of these episodes, in one of the heist
Yeah,
episodes.
it was the fucking Boston art heist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fuck with the Muppets.
No, yeah,
I
absolutely.
realized that while doing like my stream stuff. I was like, I didn't realize how much I fuck with the Muppets.
You
as
got to
much
bring
as
up
I
some
do.
like Muppet clips.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
do.
so-
The very first thing when I stream, I haven't for like a month, but the very first thing that I do is I play that Statler and Waldorf they're
Yeah.
like, is this thing on? And
No,
they're
I-
talking about a
yeah,
computer
yeah.
from like the 90s.
No, I want
And
like different
I do that,
clips,
yeah.
like an SNL skit. Every
Fair, yeah.
every
Do
every
a
time.
little Muppets variety show every week.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/dummyplump. Twitch.tv/under_AJ.
Yeah, the way it looks
There
like
you go.
underage.
Yeah.
Underage.
So if you say it, it kind of sounds like underage.
Yeah, go check them out.
So,
I
yeah.
will hopefully be streaming soon. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Hey, as long as yeah.
We'll see.
That's all I got.
We'll see.
Yeah. So
But yeah. So, have I read Lord of the Flies?
technically, yes.
No, but technically I know the gist.
Yeah. So would you say, knowing what you know about it, it's kind of like one of those classics that's worth reading? Mm-hmm. That's too bad,
It's not worth reading.
because
sorry.
William Golding got it wrong.
Oh.
The author of Lord of the
Yeah,
Flies.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had
You
to
know that
ask,
because you asked me.
Because I
Yeah.
asked at the start. I was like,
Um,
who wrote Lord of the Flies? And you go, it's in the title.
So we're going to talk about Sion, Stephen, Kolo, David, Luke, and Mano.
Okay.
These are 6 Tongan boys.
Oh, okay.
You may have heard. You may
Yeah.
have come across this story in your Reddit travels.
Okay.
They went to a Catholic school in Nuku'alofa, which is the capital of like the Tongan Empire. Is that what it's referred to?
Don't know. Sure.
Yeah, the Tongan Empire, or the Tongan capital. Let's
It
say.
sounds cool. So
It
we'll
is
go with
super cool.
Empire.
Yeah, it does. It does sound cool. And God damn it. For this, it doesn't come up at all in this story, but I was reading some of the like lore and myths about the locations that I'm talking about, and I learned a little bit about their king at the time. Badass. What an interesting culture.
Yeah.
I fucking love Tongan history, Tongan culture.
Yeah, man.
Like their traditional practices, just the fact that they are so in tune with their natural environment in how they would navigate the seas, how they would fish and
Dude,
forage.
So their
Holy
eating habits.
shit.
There's actually a huge thing about how like a lot of people see Tongans as like generally an overweight group of people, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of that is because it's in their genes, because that was their survival response, is they would eat a massive, massive amount while they were still on the island so that they could survive off of like their fat stores and like all of that while they were traveling, going from island to island to hunt.
Yeah, and they would
fish.
travel so
And
far.
Yeah, and like
Crazy.
and farm and everything, and they would get back a month later and they would have eaten like once.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, cool, now I feast back up. And so it's this weird thing. I don't even know all the details in it, but there's something in their genes that's like they cannot lose weight
If they're eating
easily,
at all.
if
Yeah.
at all.
I must be Tongan.
Yeah,
I'm just
right?
kidding.
Because of like some genetic fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So fucking
Yeah.
cool. And I've also never met a Tongan person who was an asshole to me.
Oh, they're also fucking nice.
So fucking nice. You hung out with a bunch of people of Tongan descent, didn't you? In
they were
California?
Hawaiian. They were
they were
Hawaiian,
Hawaiian.
yeah.
Okay.
They were
Same thing,
I
right?
mean,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding. That's a joke.
They were like the most
Fucking awesome.
like I've never had somebody say, "I will fucking kill a person with this knife for you," and I was like, that's cool. Don't do that, but I
Don't do that.
appreciate it.
All right. So these boys, ranging from 15 to 19 years old,
Okay.
they all went to a Catholic school.
Hell
Fucking
yeah.
boring.
I mean, boo.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're in the capital of the Tongan Empire. You're going to a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks. Get a boat, get a job, and fucking live your life with better quality than I will ever see. You'll see
we've
more
talked
sunlight.
previously about British empires and how they would push their Catholic schools.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So in June 1965, these boys banded together over the one thing they really held in common. Well, two things, but one,
Hating the
they were
Catholic
bored.
Church. Oh, okay.
And two, Catholic school fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Unless you're a lesbian at an all-girl Catholic school, it sucks.
Yeah, true.
That's the only time it's good. Or if you're gay at an all-boys Catholic school.
Then it truly sucks.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't know. I didn't go to Catholic
I
school.
don't know either. So yeah, they came up with a plan. They said, let's just fucking run away. Let's leave it all. Let's start our lives. We are young men. We are men in our culture.
Yeah.
Like, let's run away. Let's sail to Fiji, which was 500 miles away.
Damn.
Or maybe New Zealand, which was even further.
Okay.
And they were like, fuck it.
Adventurers. Yeah, man. They're like,
Let's do it. We know how to. We've been
sailing.
sailing for. It's in our blood. We've been sailing forever. We know how to sail.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're still kids. We've, not really gone on long voyages or anything like that. But let's do this.
Figure it out. Fuck it.
So they get to scheming. They don't have jobs. They don't have money. So they have to get a boat. And they decide to target a man by the name of Taniela Uhila,
Okay.
who was a fisherman whom they did not like. He was kind of a crabby asshole, from what I hear. And so they start scheming.
For some reason, I pictured him as like a Tongan Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, same.
When you said crabby asshole, I was like, oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Actually, probably. That's pretty close. So they get to scheming, and they're like, he comes in, between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., parks his boat in the harbor, and then leaves.
Has a couple drinks. takes it
Goes
easy.
home, chills out. And he has a 24-foot fishing boat. That's
Oh,
respectable,
hell
right?
yeah, bro.
It's got a sail.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Sold.
6 boys can manage a 24-foot sailboat with
dude.
a
4
sail
feet
on
of
it.
space each, dude. You got
perfect.
That. That's perfect.
But it's really wide.
Yeah, right.
So they have a lot of. It's like 10 feet wide. No, I don't know.
It's 30 feet
yeah,
wide.
30 feet wide.
They're sailing this thing the wrong way.
They're looking at it sideways. So they make a plan and they gather their supplies to last the 500-mile journey by sea. 2 sacks of bananas, 1 gas stove, and like 4 coconuts.
Oh, no. That's not. Uh-oh.
No, it's great. That's plenty of water, right?
The ration planning was a little bad.
It was a little bad. They also failed to gather a map, a compass. I mean, they didn't necessarily need the compass. That would just help at night, navigating by night.
I'll be honest. This just sounds like kids that are like, we're running away.
This is one exactly
sounds
that.
a little bit
that is
like-
exactly that sentiment. They are kids who are just running away.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part is they knew enough to get the boat into the deep ocean. Oh, no fishing rods, no fishing supplies, no fishing spears,
Uh-oh.
no water.
Oh, fuck.
couple sacks of bananas really isn't a real stratified diet.
Yeah. Sounds like one of the plans that I would add, like with my fast food working buddies in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just pack up and we'll drive.
We'll get in the Hyundai
We'll drive
Sonata.
600 miles east. Fuck it. And we end up in the middle of Texas, and we all end up having to work in oil fields for the rest of our lives.
Car pops a tire, and you kill one of you guys out into the desert, but never talk about it.
The smallest of us gets trafficked.
Gets
just
yeah.
bad.
Just
Oh, no.
just bad. So they are like, okay, let's do this, and they sneak out one night with their 2 sacks of bananas and 4 coconuts and gas burning
It's
stove.
not even 1 coconut each, dude.
I don't know how many
2
coconuts. It said very few coconuts.
Okay. 2 of them were like, I don't like coconuts, and they're like, we'll grab a couple extra bundles of bananas. For you guys.
Definitely. And they were probably like, and they were green bananas.
I guarantee they were like, what? We don't need water. It's all around us.
Yeah. We got the gas burner. We'll just boil it. Boil the salt out.
Yeah, that was their approach.
That was their plan. So they set sail, and then they can't see anything because it gets dark. And they're pretty deep, pretty far out there. They went out quite a few miles. So they say, okay, well, we know in this area we can throw down our anchor. Let's just throw down the anchor, catch some Z's.
Bro, what are you going to anchor to?
They are in an area that their anchors basically anywhere around these islands. They have anchors that can reach the bottom. Okay. They're not in like deep ocean.
It's like they're over like the fucking the Meridian Trench or whatever it is.
They just
and
throw
like,
it down. And it's just
weighing down.
hits an
one
octopus
side
in
of
the head.
boat. Yeah. Pisses off a fucking great white.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh fuck. So they do what all sailors do, and they all fall asleep, leaving no one to keep watch. Right?
Yeah,
that's fine. Every sailor does that.
The
anchor set. And they wake up to water splashing on their faces.
Oh, shit.
And all over them because a storm came in. It snapped their anchor line. So they're just... They also did not bring the sail down when they anchored. Rookie mistake.
Bro.
So the sail was shredded.
I played Sea of Thieves. I know you gotta when you get to port, put up your
you
fucking
gotta pull
sails.
up the sails. Come on. So their ship is fucked up, and pretty soon their rudder breaks.
Oh no.
So they're fucked. They don't know where they went. They don't know how far they traveled in the night.
Yeah.
They
So
don't
we're all
have any way to
sleeping.
steer. They don't have any way to direct themselves.
I bet it was such a nice sleep though.
Oh God, I bet.
They're just being rocked to sleep.
Yeah, they're being rocked to sleep, and they accomplished the dream of running away.
They're like, we worked so hard running away today. We're finally free. And then Jesus was like, suck my dick.
Little baby Catholic Jesus.
Yeah.
So they ended up drifting for 8 days. And the entire time, they had to bail out the boat because it was slowly filling with water.
Oh, my
The
God.
entire time.
Oh,
They
my
were just-
God. Good thing they brought those coconuts.
Yeah,
So they
those
could
coconuts
scoop
were gone
those.
that
Yeah.
first night. They made
Yeah.
they made
were scooping the water out.
yeah, with the coconuts.
Oh, no.
They
dude.
started to collect rainwater in the remains of the coconuts.
Okay.
So, and they would get 1 sip in the morning and 1 sip at night.
That's
all the
enough.
water they would get.
That's not enough.
No, not at all. And the ship is slowly deteriorating around them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just falling apart to the point where they're like, this metal wire that probably did something important, we're just going to take it. Like,
What year was this?
65.
65, okay.
But it feels much earlier.
Yeah.
And it doesn't lose that feeling. This really feels like a Swiss Family Robinson Disney classic.
Yeah.
Well, kinda. So,
Meanwhile, on the other side of the world in 1965, there's that group having the sex raft experience.
yeah, what if they ran
They're
into
like,
each
yeah,
other?
we're fucking. Well, different
for the
different
19-year-olds.
oceans. Yeah, 2 very different oceans.
Yeah, but they
They
could.
went across the Atlantic.
What if they could though? What if?
They make
What
it
if they
all the way
sailed?
down around this
Yeah.
the south side of like South America, and they're
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck?" God,
Yeah, I mean, hey, 8 days is a long time to travel aimlessly, right?
they're going like 600 miles an hour.
They're blasting.
We didn't know how to turn the engine off.
Yeah. We had 8 days of fuel. So the ship is breaking up, and on the morning of the 8th day, I think it was Steven, he looks out, and he sees an island way out there. It's just a rock jutting up. And Let's see. And they're like, fuck, we have to abandon ship. Let's see if we get closer. But this ship it's literally just falling apart around them.
Oh,
like it's melting.
Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah. And they kind of get a little bit closer. And then they kind of start just, that's a big plank.
Slap it on.
Grab it.
Oh.
And floated. And they swam for... Okay, so there's two different people have recounted this story, and both of them remember this part differently.
Mm-hmm.
One of them recalls that they had to swim for upwards of 36 hours, relying on hanging on planks to get to the island. The other one says that it was more like 4 hours. The boat that got close enough, Stephen jumped off, swam to the shore, and then called out to them. But even if it was 3 or 4 hours of swimming, they wouldn't be able to call back.
Yeah, that's still.
So the story, I'm going on the closer to 24 to 36 hour story.
Oof.
So they just swam on the planks and eventually got there. Stephen was the first one on the island, and he was so tired he couldn't even stand up. He just kind of got beached and just yelled, "Hey, I'm here. The beach is right here," and they were able to kind of swim towards him.
I see.
And they have
To be fair, like...
They were all fucking delirious.
Well, they're all delirious, but also, like, it's not like you have anywhere for the other sound to go. Like, if you're standing on a shore and you just call straight forward, the likelihood of them still hearing you is potentially high.
Potentially, but
like,
it's been...
Not 36 hours of swimming high, but, like, there's
I'm
nothing,
thinking they all just
there's
jumped
nothing
off.
that your sound is really going to get absorbed or like deflected by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll travel a bit.
Yeah.
So they reach the shore, and they land on the island of Ata, A-T-A.
Okay.
For some reason, apostrophe A-T-A. I don't know why, but it's cool. So
It's
today,
probably something that's like like a smaller version of like some island. It's like
it's like part of a complex,
like Tiny Island kind of thing or something.
So they land on the shore, which today is considered an uninhabitable island.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's great. It was actually inhabited originally. Originally, it was inhabited, we thought, from like the 1600s to the 1800s.
Okay.
But some dating on some pottery dated it until like in the 400s.
Oh.
So there may have been people off and on there for thousands of years.
I wonder if it was like a little stopping point.
Yeah, they may have just stopped through a couple of times. But we do know the history of the island is that in, I think it was 1863, mid to late 1800s, a ship showed up, talked to a higher up in the community, and then he came out and said, "Hey, we're doing some trading. Every family send your best young man with the best items that you have, and we're going to go trade on the ship so that you can go see what you're trading for."
Yeah.
About half the population of the island was enslaved.
Yeah.
In one moment.
All of their like strongest working people.
Yeah. Horrible.
Jesus.
The king of the Tongan Empire at that time heard about it eventually and sent ships to the island to take the last remaining people off. And they resettled them where they still live today, the descendants of those people in general.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
So since
and these
the 1800s,
were the last descendants of them. No, I'm just kidding. No. Can you imagine though?
Oh,
They're just
God.
like, we're gonna take our genes to we're gonna go back to Ata, and then they just fucking die out there. Like, fuck.
Yeah. So they show up to this island, and it's basically a volcano with a little bit of beach, just a little bit.
Nice.
So it's pretty like there's some game
barren,
trails, kind of, but there's not a lot of animals.
Yeah.
There's no fresh water, as far as I can tell.
Oh.
So that really sucks for these guys who've been having 2 sips of water a day on the ocean
Jesus.
for 8 days, who just swam potentially 24 to 36 hours.
Oy, oy.
Yeah. It's not really the tropical oasis, I was going to say Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, in Castaway. It's not that.
Speaking of which, if you have not seen it, it's like an OG YouTube video from like first days of YouTube. There was a guy that he spent a year by himself on an island.
Damn.
I'll see if I can find it and I'll send
Yeah.
it to you. He has a radio for like emergency calls, and like once a month he gets somebody that shows up and checks on him.
Oh yeah.
And he ends up finding out that he's actually close to a community, but he's like, I'm not gonna go there.
Like on the island?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I won't take anything from you guys, but he was like, it was just the craziest thing. He ends up like catching this cute little pig, like a little baby pig that he was like, I'm gonna eat it, and then he's like, I don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
So
understandable.
it's pretty cool. I'll see if I can find it. But
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, if you guys look it up, it's like I spent a year on a remote island, and it looks like it was made in like 2001 with like a camera from 1980.
Hell yeah.
It's a really cool video.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love tropical island survival. I think it's so interesting.
It intrigues me
They
so
have
much.
they have such a different type of resource. You know, they have different resources than like survival in our area here or in most of the
exactly.
United States. And
Yeah.
so it's just really
it's
interesting to
really
me.
cool. I like it as well.
It's almost like the traditional people, the indigenous people of those islands crafted the islands to perfectly match their needs, or adapted themselves to
Yeah.
perfectly match their needs.
Yeah.
Like palm fronds as a resource is such a good resource for building shit,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's just weird. It's really
It's
interesting.
crazy. It's so fun to see, though.
So initially, they're on the shore. They're weak. They need to recover, and they're able to just basically walk up to the mountain birds and just grab them.
Yeah, because I'm sure the birds are like, what the fuck are those? Okay, whatever.
And they're just in their nest. So
Yeah.
they get some eggs. They find some coconuts. They get some birds. They drink the birds' blood
Yeah,
because they're
Dune
so
style,
thirsty.
man.
They have to.
Yeah.
And they cook the birds. They would just, I mean, at this point, they didn't have fire or anything, but eventually they'd come up with fire. And they would just grab the bird by the head, the dead bird, and then put it in the fire and rotate it until the feathers were burnt off.
Oh, God.
And that's how they cook it. These, yeah.
They're just kids.
They're
Yeah.
just kids. Let's see. So yeah, they start recovering. They start drinking from the coconuts, which are really big. They catch some fish. They're eating them raw, but it's better than nothing. And they're able to get enough strength to kind of start exploring the island
Yeah.
around them. They start kind of hiking around, going up a little bit more. There are more birds up there. They don't have to drink as much bird blood.
Jesus Christ.
And within the first 3 months, we're getting to months now.
Yeah.
They get to the top in the volcanic crater. They find the remnants of the original population.
Oh, hell yeah.
No people.
But I mean,
But
shelters.
they have
or at least kind of
brick
shelters.
foundations, not
Yeah.
brick, like stone foundations.
Yeah.
And just a really interesting kind of area where they also have chickens who have been breeding for 100 years.
Yeah.
Just on their own that were left behind.
Yeah. But they're like the most badass, strong chickens on the planet.
Yeah, so they start building some chicken coops
Yeah.
and living in this kind of area where the
Yeah.
remnants used to be,
Fuck yeah.
and shit started to get a little bit better. They also had where, the crops were abandoned over 100 years ago at this point. But when crops get abandoned, it's not like they stop growing. They just kind of go wild.
Yeah.
So they found wild taro and banana plants
Fuck yeah.
in a pretty good amount. So they start a garden, basically. They start their own farm that could sustain them with the other resources on the island. And they kind of thrive.
I hate it
They get
'cause
together.
I'm imagining the whole thing just like as soon as you were like, oh, they found the old foundation, I'm like, oh, this is just like fucking Minecraft now.
It is.
And I'm like,
They're rebuilding
damn,
on
like they're just
Minecraft.
like, yeah, we'll just fucking take everything from here and just start living here. I'm like, god damn.
Yeah,
dude.
it's Minecraft when you discover a village. So they so they initially set down some ground rules very simply for their society of what they're going to have is we're not going to fight. We're not going to argue. If there's an issue, you're going to go to that side of the island. You're going to go to that side of the island. You're going to come back tonight, and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, so they didn't establish like a democracy hierarchy and then start beating the shit out of each other?
No. Crazy. crazy how that works. They held each other at the same level and viewed each other with mutual respect.
William Golding was like, the story's boring. Let me change it.
Fuck this. I got to go drink more.
Yeah.
He was a renowned alcoholic.
Not enough abuse.
Yeah.
Next.
They don't have any women on this island to beat. So they also divide up the chores so that you're not just doing one thing all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody's contributing equally. Sometimes you have easier jobs, sometimes you have harder jobs. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
They would divvy themselves up into teams of 2 and change every day. And, this team would go work on the garden. Okay, this team, you're on kitchen duty. You're going to prepare all the meals today.
Mm-hmm.
This team, you're going to tend the fire.
Yeah, kind of shit.
This team, maybe one person from this team is going to be on lookout on the island to look for ships while the other guy is going to be on fire duty, who's going to watch the fire. And then if you call out, they'll start the signal fire kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 6 people. So it's like garden, kitchen, and then the tending the fire and the guard duty was kind of the same job.
Oh, okay.
From my understanding. I could be completely wrong.
That's fair. That's no worries. Makes sense.
The story has changed a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's important to note that. As with, it's not like they had written records.
Yeah, right. What were they going to do? Write it on the fucking coconut shells? The 4 coconuts that they brought?
So, yeah, they would also, in the morning, when they would start the day with a prayer because they're Catholic and some music, some song.
Okay.
And then same thing, they would end the day, music and a prayer. They ended up writing 5 songs during this time period that they were on this island. And they made a guitar.
What the fuck?
One of them got a fucking half a coconut. They had metal wires from the boat, a piece of driftwood, and they made a little. I saw a picture of it. They had a little guitar.
That's sick.
That was. I mean, it made enough noise that they could. It was huge for morale.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always like, damn, that's so inventive. But I'm like, if I were stuck on an island and there was literally nothing else to do, yeah. Like I'm like, I'd probably figure out like a guitar or something. I'd make like a set of drums together or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. They did that. They made some drums and stuff just like out of coconuts and driftwood and whatever they could. And they started to kind of rediscover older traditional practices because they found some hollowed out trees that were hollowed out by hand.
These kids later became the Beatles.
They did. Yeah, you didn't know this. The Beatles were Tongan. They would have been way better if they were Tongan.
Fuck yeah. John Lennon never would have pulled his shit if they were Tongan.
Yeah, he never would have gotten shot in the face.
Yeah. Yoko Ono never would have come along if he were Tongan.
No, Yoko Ono's renowned racist, Yoko Ono. I have no idea. But yeah, they basically found these hollowed out trees and they were like, oh, fuck, this is water storage. So the rain would fill up these hollow tree trunks.
Oh,
so they started doing it. They would hollow out some trees and that was their water storage.
That's clever. Hell yeah.
So they never, well, they struggled with water at times. There were long stretches of times where there wasn't rain, where they would have to really ration it out and stuff like that. But yeah, they ended up making a huge garden. This is the best. And probably one of the best photos, because there are photos.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'll explain how later. But they made a weight bench.
Oh, sick.
With like a bench press. Yeah. Or with the barbells and like a gym. They made a gym.
Oh, yeah.
Out of like rocks and sticks and shit. And it's the coolest shit. They made a badminton court. Oh. They built up a bunch of chicken coops. And it took them a while to start a fire, but once they started it, it never went out the entire time they were there. They made it by rubbing sticks together.
Yeah, fuck.
Doing the classic, like, groove.
Yeah.
Rub a stick for 2.5 hours, and then you got one coal that can go out at any moment.
Way easier to just do, like, the bow thing.
No, I think it's easier to just use, like, a Bic lighter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But yeah, the bow thing probably would have helped. Yeah, and they kind of, I mean, it was rough living, but it was also kind of good living for their age, for being like these young men. Like, they got that kind of adventure that they were looking for, and they did it in a way that didn't leave anybody with any hard feelings. Like, they were
Yeah.
bros about it.
Oh, they didn't kill one of them?
They didn't kill one of them.
No, lame.
Even when they were totally justified to.
Yeah.
When Steven slipped off a cliff and broke his leg.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and so a broken leg in a survival situation could
That's
very
a lot,
well
yeah.
be a fatal mistake for the entire group. You know, that's
Yeah.
one person who you have to feed, who needs food to recover,
Yeah, they can't.
who cannot provide
produce
anything.
Yeah.
But they were set up so well, they just carried him to the camp and said, "Hey, don't worry. You sit up here like their king, whose
Splint
name
it
is
up.
further. I don't think I put his name down. Really difficult to pronounce. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You sit here like our king. We'll take care of it."
Yeah.
They splinted him in a traditional way using banana leaves and sticks and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a huge scar for the rest of his
Jesus.
life, but his leg set perfectly fine.
You'd expect him to just have a crooked leg permanently, but
Exactly.
good for them.
No, they said it really well. They tended him to a full recovery, and they just did this. You know, there would be periods of drought where they'd have to go back to the bird blood for a little bit.
Yeah.
But they were kind of getting smarter every time that would happen. They would store up a little bit more. Even on when there was bountiful water, they would still kind of ration it out. They would stockpile coconuts a little bit more rather than just immediately going in for the food and water.
Okay.
And they were setting up. I mean, mentally, obviously, there's periods of hope and periods of, oh, fuck, this is going to be forever
Yeah.
until we all die off one by one. Like, how long can we sustain this lifestyle? Kind of thing. But they kept themselves busy. They, everybody had a job, but there was also plenty of time for music, for
Yeah.
hitting the gym. They
made it
all
work.
they all bonded over gym shit. They came out of this more
Jacked as
jacked
fuck,
than they
yeah.
were when they left.
I bet.
Like, what else are you gonna do? You just fucking lift
Exactly.
weights.
It's like prison.
It's like prison.
What the fuck else are
Who
you gonna
comes
do?
out of
Yeah.
prison not jacked?
Yeah. If you came out of prison not jacked, you were
You
just
wasted
getting,
your
You were
time.
getting fucked in the ass the
Well, yeah.
whole time.
The whole time.
But
yeah.
good for you. I mean,
Hey,
make it
good job.
work.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah.
So Sunday the 11th, 1966, a dude by the name of Peter Warner was captaining his fishing fleet from Tasmania in Australia, and they would go kind of near some of the Tongan areas, but they wouldn't fish directly in their territory
Okay.
because, you have to deal with the government,
Yeah.
the Tongan king. You don't want to fuck with the Tongans when you're also on a boat.
This is
You know?
true. Yeah.
And he decides he's got an interesting kind of backstory that I won't get into too much. Basically, his dad was a very, very wealthy radio man back in the 30s.
Oh.
So
okay.
he basically controlled radio in Australia. So he comes from this affluent family. His dad really wanted him to take over the family business. He wanted to be a sailor and go off on adventures,
Not
much
a
like these
radio
boys.
Man, Dad.
Yeah.
I want to be
And
a
then-
pirate.
So he went off and he got like all these sailing like certificates and shit from different governments saying he was a good sailor, doing all this stuff. And then he came back and he was like, "Dad, look, I'm such a good sailor. Are you proud of me now?" Dad's like, "You know what you should do? You should be an accountant for my company. That's how you're going to make money."
Why aren't you a doctor yet?
Yeah, pretty much. And so he would work with the dad's company, but he also had his own fishing fleet and said, "No, I want to do this too. I want to have these ships. I'll have this company too on the side, kind of.
Oh,
This is a
okay,
side
yeah,
gig."
yeah.
This was his escape from his overbearing father.
Yeah. From his accounting job.
Yeah, so on the way back from one of his fishing trips, as he normally would do, even with the full crew, this is a business, they would take a little detour every once in a while, just go see an island.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go see all this stuff. They weren't specifically looking for an island.
They're
But
just they're like, oh, that's
just
cool.
sailing.
Let's swing by. We'll take the scenic route.
they're taking the scenic route, and out in the distance, they pass the island of Atu, which Peter was aware of, uninhabited island in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, that island looks a little weird compared to the last time I saw it.
Yeah. Weird. There's a smoke.
There's a boy on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And he takes out his spyglass.
Yeah.
He looks at it. I imagine it's like 2 feet long.
Yeah. Somebody grab this and run to the other side of the ship.
Yeah.
24-foot long spyglass.
Yeah, and it's 3 times magnification. So he's looking through at the island, and he notices on the cliff sides there are these huge patches that are burned.
Oh.
And that's really weird on these tropical islands. Forest fires don't really happen as much. It's very humid.
Yeah. Everything's generally wet enough that it's not going to be ignited by lightning.
Yeah, lightning's too quick. So he looks through, he notices these burn patches, and he's like, that's fucking weird.
They're in a weird... For some reason, the burn patches look like they say SOS.
No, it's a penis.
Yeah. Help.
It's a huge cock
With a dick
and burns.
below it.
That's
Yeah.
what I would do. And so he's starting to kind of, let's go check it out. There could be somebody there. And he goes, but he also knows some of these, like, uninhabited islands will have, like, thieves and bandits, kind of.
Yeah.
People would go hide out until
Yeah.
the heat cuts down if they committed a crime or something like that. So he's kind of nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's approaching, he sees a kid with long hair, totally naked, walk out kind of onto a ledge, see the ship, and jump off the water and start swimming towards the boat.
Or jump off the cliff.
Jump off the cliff. Yeah, sorry. Did I say jump off the water?
Yeah.
Fuck.
You're good.
It jumps off the cliff into the water and starts approaching the boat. And initially, when the kid gets to the boat, he's like, I'm not going to let you on.
You're like, whoa, you're a naked kid, dude. Sorry.
We need to figure out who you are. And he's like, we've been trapped here. He says, my name is Steven. There are 6 of us, and we reckon we've been here for 15 months.
Jeez.
And they were. It was 15 months. They kept track accurately. And he's like, I don't know if you're lying to me. Are you going to, like, rob me?
Yeah.
And he shows him, he's like, do you know who this is? And he happens to have some photos and stuff around. And it's the queen of the Tongans. And he says, oh yeah, that's our queen.
Okay.
And gives the name. And he's like, okay, I'll believe it. Because he also sees 5 other kids screaming, yelling, waving, diving off, swimming towards
They're
the
like,
boat.
holy shit.
They're losing
Yeah.
their shit. And they get on board. They tell Peter their whole story.
And he goes, I don't think we can go back anywhere with 5 naked children. I'm really sorry.
I'm sorry. You guys got to go
Yeah.
find some clothes.
You need to go make
loincloth.
clothes. Yeah. We'll stay here. They
Yeah.
drop their anchor, it tears, and they...
Yeah, and they get stuck. They have to drink a lot of bird blood because there's not enough water. Yeah, and they tell their whole story. They tell about 4 other ships passing by, them trying to do smoke signals, starting big
Man,
fires.
that shit would be so
Oh
disheartening.
my god, I can't even imagine. And he's like, fuck, this is crazy. I got a radio Nuku Alofa, the capital. So he radios in, and there's an operator, and the operator says, stand by, whatever, let's check out your story. Yeah. 20 minutes pass. Operator comes back crying on the radio, saying, you found them. These boys have been given up for dead. We've already had funerals for them.
Wow.
If this is them, this is a miracle.
Yeah.
And they say, come to us right away. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they don't care about... we'll resupply you.
Yeah.
We don't care. And they go
Just
right in.
bring our boys home.
Yeah, and they dock.
Fucking fisherman's like, my boat. We'll finally get my boat
They'll finally
back.
get my boat back. Yeah, tow the boat. Hey, operator,
Yeah,
make
tell
sure
him
you
to
tell
tow
him
the
to tow the boat back.
He's like, what boat?
Boat.
I got some bad news.
Oh, yeah, and they had tried to do the raft thing.
Oh, yeah?
They tried to build a raft, and they got about a mile out before it broke up.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Wilson!
So they were trying to get off. They were busy the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Definitely had some Wilson moments, I'm sure. And so, yeah, they head back first. They dock. A doctor comes aboard, checks him out, says, these kids are jacked. What the fuck?
He's like, they're skinny strong.
Yeah, and they looked at the broken leg, and they go, what the fuck? This is perfect. We don't need to do anything.
They're like, this kid has the best quads I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. He probably just flexed and held the bone back.
Yeah.
He created his own splint, muscle splint.
Jesus.
Yeah. So then the doctor leaves, says they're in amazing condition. This is the boys, who are missing. And then the cops show up.
Oh.
And they board the ship and arrest them.
The boys?
The
Because they
boys,
stole the boat?
Because they stole the boat.
Damn.
This fucking asshole.
That fisherman piece of shit.
Yeah, old Taniela Uhila was still pissed off over the boat 15 months ago that they almost died from and decided to press charges.
Yeah, I don't blame them for not liking him.
Yeah, I don't either.
also
He
am not a
kind of
fan. Yeah.
he kind of sounds like he deserved it.
Kind of ties it all together. He was a piece of shit.
He was a piece of shit, full circle. But this is the best part. See, they rode into town with a white man, a wealthy white man with connections.
Oh, and the guy was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Here.
Peter was like, I know what they've been through because of, I've been able to sail with them for a couple of days. Like,
yeah, these are great.
I've been able to
kids.
hear the story, how they manage things within the society, how they were able to forgive each other, look past little mistakes, and understand each other for their value and their true value and worth, not necessarily who's good at what. And they held each other up, and he's like, "This is bullshit."
Yeah,
So
I'll buy you a fisher boat. Fuck you.
I'll buy you a boat. No, he reached out to his connections in the film industry in Sydney, Australia. He knew the manager of Channel 7. If you're Australian, you know Channel 7, I'm sure. They, big TV channel, lots of documentaries and shows and stuff like that.
So like ESPN. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. More like
yeah,
CBS
sure. Yeah.
or ABC. I don't know. Just like,
Yeah, one of those big.
but like in the
ports,
60s.
Yeah.
And it's Australia, so they had full market control, essentially.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to monopolize industries in Australia than it
Yeah.
is in the U.S. just based on sheer population size and
That's fair.
geologic control. So he calls this guy and says, "Hey, listen, this is a crazy story. This would be perfect to make a movie about, documentary,
Yeah.
whatever you want. You get the Australian rights to this. I get everywhere else in the world, and you pay me a couple $100."
He goes,
Like-
get these kids on 60 fucking minutes.
Basically, that's the idea. It's like 60 minutes.
The
Yeah.
fucking Australian 60 minutes.
Yeah. And the guy says, "Okay, fuck yeah." And Peter gets the cash. He goes to Uhila and says, "Here's $150 to go fuck yourself."
Hell yeah. And the
And-
guy's like, this is more money I've seen in my life.
And now he goes, "Okay, that's about how much the boat was valued at. I'll drop the charges."
He goes, yeah, bitch.
He goes to the boys and says, "Hey, I can get him to drop the charges, but you have to cooperate with the movie. You have to be movie stars."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, fuck yeah."
He's like, also, you're not going to be staying here. We're going to take you to the big time. We're going to Australia. And they're like, damn, we got saved. We come back as like everybody's excited to see us except the one guy we don't like. And now we all get promotions. Fuck yeah.
It's even better than that, actually. So, yeah.
We're all hometown heroes.
The
and we
entire
ran
island's
away?
population showed up for their welcoming. 900, just about 900 people showed up, and that was the population of the island. Peter was, carried through the streets as a hero and a savior who brought these, their 6 boys back.
Imagine
And-
being
yeah.
like the 7th friend that was like, I don't know. I don't think we should do this.
And
they
didn't
get
go.
back and they're like
And they're
hailed
jacked.
as gods.
They're
and you're
jacked
like,
and they're gods.
yeah, you're like, damn.
They're fully like viewed as men within the culture. And
You're like, shit,
Oh,
I should have
fuck.
done it.
And the king himself went to Peter and said, "You brought home 6 of my people. What can I do for you?" That's kind of big, getting kind of a blank check from a king,
Yeah.
especially if you happen to be a fisherman in the industry.
Yeah. Not bad.
And he says, all Peter says is, "I would just like permission to fish lobster in your waters."
Yeah.
And he says, "Sold.
Fucking nice,
Do
dude.
it." And that's big because those lobster, like, it was all local businesses, local people fishing their lobsters. So it was kind of an untapped market
Yeah.
for bringing those lobsters into Australia.
Yeah, he goes, hey, I got Tongan lobsters. And people are like,
It's big.
Oh my
It's a
God.
different type of lobster. It's like a spiky-tailed lobster or something like that.
Yeah.
And all the locals are going up to this guy saying, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, this is my secret spot for lobsters. Hey, this is the
Yeah.
secret way that I attract them.
Yeah.
Hey, this is
They're
how
just
I do
like,
it." So he's
we
getting all of the
appreciate
local
you, yeah.
secrets of
Damn.
how to do this. And he goes on to have a basically being able to quit his dad's job and say, "No, I'm creating this lobster empire because I saved these boys."
Yeah,
Not
suck
only
my
that,
balls, Dad. I'm a lobster pirate now.
not only that, he goes with the boys with Channel 7. They go back to the island and recreate the entire experience
For
a documentary.
For 15 months with
For
hidden
15
cameras.
months. Yeah. Survivor. No,
Atta.
they go
Survivor. Atta.
through. Atta. Hell yeah. I would do that. Alone. Atta.
God.
And they do that. They probably make a little bit of cash on the side for that.
Oh, I bet they
Nothing
make a bunch,
crazy. for it because it was just released on 60
fucking minutes.
I wasn't gonna say 60 Minutes on the
Yeah.
Channel 7 as a documentary. They didn't end up making a movie. Recently, the rights were acquired by a large Hollywood company, so there might be a movie based on this at some
be
point.
cool.
But the documentary did come out, and I'll tell you how to find it if you're interested. I skipped around it a little
loosely
bit.
based on the story of Finding Nemo.
Perfect. That would be perfect. Let's see. Okay, so he gets this blank check to fish these lobsters. He and the boys are fine, and he says, I'm going to buy me a new ship. And he did. A huge ship.
What a
Awesome,
guy.
like cutting edge. And then he goes, hey, boys, you want a job?
Hell yeah.
And he hires all of them onto his crew.
and I'll be visiting your home every so often, so you still get to see your
exactly.
family.
So they get the adventure that they wanted because now they get to
Yeah.
travel basically the world.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's kind of in the Australia,
Yeah.
Tongan
Like South
Empire
Pacific
area,
kinda area.
the South Pacific. But every once in a while, Peter liked going to different places just for fun, and he would take the crew. And there's even one time where they're out sailing, and Stephen, I think it's Stephen, sees a little light flashing on the horizon, tells Peter they go to the island. They saved more people who were
Jesus.
shipwrecked.
That's cool.
Like they would go on to have these very rich, fulfilling lives and do well for themselves. The documentary that has kind of the reenactment it's on YouTube. It's called 6 Tongan Castaways and in Ata Island, and then it's Old Documentary Channel 7. You're gonna probably see some of those clips on our Instagram.
That's cool.
Because she's been doing a lot with video and it's been doing really
It's
well.
been phenomenal, yeah.
Look out for that. We'll have some pictures on there too. Yeah, and it was crazy. A journalist who kind of broke this story more recently was able to travel to Peter and one of the boys because they would still hang out.
Yeah.
The guy who had the guitar, he still had the guitar.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
would play it, and they would hang out. They lived near each other, and she showed up, and Peter was 70, and Peter was 90, the kid was 70, and they were still just hanging out. They were just broing it up, and they're like, yeah, we thought nobody would remember this from so long ago.
Yeah.
And then it also kind of started doing more rotations more recently because some really, really smart lady did like a comparison between this and Lord of the Flies.
Oh,
and did like
okay.
a thought experiment of
like,
who's
hey,
more
this
right.
is-
These look like extremes to both sides. Like
Yeah.
maybe we need to rethink how human beings react under pressure in emergency
Yeah.
situations. Because the go-to thought is it will eventually break down.
Yeah, it'll turn into a power
It's
power
the wall
sink.
from Solar
Yeah.
Opposites.
Yeah.
Versus the reality is there are multiple stories of shit happening where people don't break down and they are, in it together.
Yeah, we're all going to fucking work together or we're all going to die kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the William Golding was wrong.
Yeah, fuck you, William
Fuck
Golding.
you.
Stupid bitch.
The Spire sucked.
Never mind.
The Pyramid wasn't
Not-
much better.
I'm going to read all the classics. Not yours.
Not yours.
I'm going to go back and read The Secret Letter, bitch. Not,
Yeah, the Scarlet
not-
Letter?
Yeah. Scarlet Letter. Not Lord of the Flies. See, that shows
Not-
how much I fucking
that
read
shows how
Scarlet
much you
Letter.
read it.
Yeah, how much I give a fuck
You
about
should
that
you
book.
should read The Secret Garden.
That was okay.
It's
that
pretty
was
good.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Secret Garden, Scarlet Letter, they're all the same. Right?
Basically, they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the tale of
That's
of the
cool.
Tongan castaways.
I dig it. It's a fun little survival one. You don't do this very often.
Yeah, had to break it up.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you guys bearing with me during this weird stretch of life. And for those of you that are on our Patreon, thank you so much for supporting us. If you're interested, check us out, patreon.com/points of pressure. We do exclusive episodes on there. We have a bunch of sloppy seconds. AJ has his incredible series called Voices. Go check it out. If you can't afford it, don't pay for it. We have a free tier that you'll still get some exclusive content. But yeah, check us out. We'd really appreciate it. Got those names?
Yes, we've got the board who was very influential in the setup of the Tongan Castaways, like governing system. They came up with the whole "don't fight, don't kill each other."
They insisted that 4 coconuts would be enough. So
Well,
we can blame them for that one.
No, they were correct. In this case, they
I
were correct.
suppose
Hey,
so, yeah.
they survived. That means they were correct. And then, so we've got Grover, who has changed their profile picture to Grover in a doctor's suit.
I knew it wasn't President Grover.
Nah, we'll see. It is President Grover.
Now we need the crossover.
Now it's the Doctor.
Now
Grover.
we need Sesame Street Grover photoshopped onto President Grover.
Oh fuck,
As a
that
black
definitely
and white photo.
exists.
Yeah, I'm pushing.
We'll
I'm pushing
see. We'll
for
see.
it. Surprise
Mini
us
D,
next week.
fun having Mini D, Thomas, and Toddle Waddle. Thank you so much for being here and see, with your support, we would have brought 6 coconuts and been living in luxury.
Yes, this is true. Yeah.
Let's see. And then we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, and G-Dog. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you being here, sticking with us through this time.
Yeah.
We will make it all up to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm already brainstorming how we can expand our offerings. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. You have your thing.
Yeah. As always, if you guys ever have any recommendations for movies, TV shows, books, jobs, remote jobs, hybrid jobs,
$10,000 in a suitcase in the woods.
Yeah, jobs. Just reach out to us if you need somebody to just talk to. Reach out and ask for AJ.
Yeah. Hey, times are rough.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But yeah, we really appreciate you guys. Find us and reach out to us on Instagram at pointsopressure. Email us at ppdnaj@gmail.com or go to our website pointsopressure.com. Send us a voicemail or an email, and we will see you guys when we see ya. Peace.